Hi, my name's Ibrahim Alkurd, and I'm the founder and CEO of Newmine Limited. We are the UK's largest cryptocurrency mining company. So a bit about me. I founded this company due to seeing a gap in the market for reliable manufacturers of mining equipment. We have mining operations across multiple US states and also within Canada. And we as a company are in the process of creating a tokenized hedge fund. So I'm going to talk through the basics and build this up to make sure that we cover all the experience in the room. So what exactly is mining? So it is what underpins the network. So Bitcoin and Ethereum are known as proof of work coins. And mining is the process whereby we use very powerful computers to verify transactions. And upon successful verification of the transactions, you get paid out in the cryptocurrency that you are mining, whether it's Ethereum, Bitcoin, or any of the other coins. And this mining process allows a healthy stream of new coins into the market. Some coins, such as XRP, which is owned by the company Ripple, are pre-mined. So the only way that you can get your hands on a pre-mined coin is by purchasing it. So mining hardware, there are two main types. It's ASICs and GPU rigs. So the main supplier of ASICs is a company known as Bitmain. They supply S9s, A3s, L3s. So an S9 is used for mining Bitcoin. L3 is used for mining Litecoin, and there's other machines being outputted by Bitmain. So ASIC stands for an application-specific integrated circuit. And this is essentially a microchip that is designed to be very powerful at mining a particular coin. My company, our main manufacturing is for GPU rigs. So these mine a range of coins such as Ethereum, Monero, Zcash, and other coins. So it's not, whilst an ASIC is limited to one or two coins, a GPU rig can be used to mine a range of coins. And then as a company, for each one of our clients, we recommend diversification across a range of ASICs and GPU rigs in order to mitigate risks. So this is the mining hardware. This is what runs the network to allow you to transfer coins between one wallet and the other. So on the left, we have an S9, and that's used to mine Bitcoin, as I've said. That's a very powerful mining machine. And on the right-hand side, that's our manufacturing facility in Washington State in the United States. So here we are producing GPU rigs. We have multiple mining cards and a large case in order to keep the cards as cool as possible and to prevent overheating. That facility is actually expanding incredibly quickly. So if you want to get into mining, there's a few factors you need to consider, because most people get into it because they want to make money. So the first factor is the purchase price of the machines. So the bigger it goes, the cheaper it gets. As a company, we have a policy of a minimum buy-in of $500,000. Most of our clients are very wealthy business people. We've had members of royal families in the Middle East, sold across 4 continents. So this just goes to show the scale that cryptocurrency is going in. So the resale value of the machines, you need to consider depreciation. The electricity costs. So most mining operations are held in Iceland, the US, Canada, places where you get really cheap sources of electricity. And we tend to build our mining farms in hydropower places because we're using renewable sources of energy, so it's environmentally friendly, and it's also very cheap. You can't predict the increase in mining difficulty, so as more machines are added to the network, it's going to get more and more difficult to be paid out in coins. So that's a factor that we cannot know because we don't know how much money is coming into the market. So this is a photo of what myself and one of our clients. This is known as the Rock Island Dam in Washington State in the US. This is where the cheap electricity comes from to run these mining operations profitably. So if you purchase machines through our company, we will host you somewhere near one of these sites so we can get you cheap electricity and therefore the highest profit margins possible. This shows the exponential growth in the last 3 months only, or it's the last six months ago actually, of the network. So it shows how much money is actually moving into the market. So we're talking about billions worth of mining hardware being brought online every few months. And this is just the tip of it. So as a company, we also do over-the-counter transactions for crypto, and we've seen billions upon billions being bought by people, but that doesn't touch the exchanges. So although the price of Bitcoin is going down, there's actually billions moving into the market that we don't see because it doesn't touch the exchanges. So that's also another big factor to consider. So now we've got a little video to show you. So this is us making a GPU rig that's used to mine Ethereum. The making of it is not actually that difficult. So you've got the 4U server cases, you've got the cards, you've got the power supply and the large motherboard. You could probably make one of these in your spare time in about 5 to 6 hours. The difficulty is in building, taking this and building it into a few thousand machines or, tens of thousands of machines. That's when it gets more difficult. So here we're just plugging in each one of the cards. This again is in our manufacturing site in Washington. And then once we've built the machines, we take it to the side. So that's our company logo on the machine. We then run tests on it to make sure that it's reliable as possible and that it's running perfectly, because we ship these machines all over, across multiple continents. So we want to make sure that they're the best machines possible. So this is testing the machine. We modify the BIOS on the cards. And what that means is we change the cards to be as efficient as possible in mining so that we get as much coins out of the cards as possible, and therefore the healthiest returns for our clients. And I think that's fine if we can move on. So this is one of the setups that we have. This is a cheaper mining system where you've got the cards on one level and then everything else, the cards, everything else. This is less stable than the case you just saw, but it's cheaper. So it comes down to our customers choosing, do you want a cheaper, less reliable system, or do you want a slightly more expensive, more reliable system? These are some S9 miners. And this is one of our techs running diagnostics. This is the other important factor to consider. If you want to get into cryptocurrency mining, these machines are going to break at some point or the other because they are running 24/7, and you're putting these machines through extreme heat and extreme pressures. So things will go wrong, but we have people manning the data centers 24/7 in order to keep the machines online. So if you want to get into cryptocurrency mining, what are your options? So option number one, if you're a hobbyist, you can run 1 or 2 machines for fun in your house and education. You may make some profit. Electricity is quite expensive in the UK, but you probably still come out on top. Second option is cloud mining. So a very notable company is Genesis Mining. If you want to make some serious money, you don't touch cloud mining because anyone that knows anything about mining will tell you cloud mining operations are not profitable in the long run. If it made sense for them to run their operations, then they do it themselves. The third option is to buy your own hardware and get it hosted professionally with a company like Newmine, our company. So this is good if you're an institutional or venture capital investor. As I said, the minimum buy order that we currently have in the company is about $500,000, so it's not really for someone wanting to throw a few thousand. If you want to throw a few thousand, option number 1 or 2 is probably the best for you. So I mentioned that point already, and mining is all about scale. So there are a few companies out there that own the mining monopolies, and you'll never hear their names because they like to stay in the shadows. But it's about, it's a handful of companies that buy all the mining equipment that comes out of Bitmain and run really large-scale, profitable operations. So I've talked about what we do as a company. We primarily focus on manufacturing GPU rigs in scale, but we're actually doing a venture now to be able to allow people to buy a few of our machines as opposed to buying several hundred. We supply ASICs. You can have a look at our source section on our website. Our website's in the top left-hand corner. And we're currently manufacturing across 3 states in the US and also expanding into Canada. So this is the monitoring software that we have for our clients. It allows you to see how many of your mining machines are up. This particular client has 16 systems, generating 3,000 mega hashes per second. And also, we monitor the machines' temperature and other factors to make sure that they're online. So if something goes offline, we have an automated system to bring it back online straight away. You can see your machines poolside, so we don't hide anything. Everything's open source. It's crypto. You can see your unpaid balance, how many active workers you have. This is for another particular client of ours. So just back to the point. So we're currently forming a tokenized hedge fund, which is to allow every person to get into it. It's essentially, hedge funds are owned by a monopoly, and if you want a few thousand to get into the hedge fund game, then it can be difficult. So we're creating a tokenized hedge fund to make that possible. Thank you. That's it from me, and I welcome any questions. Oh, you've got a question? Oh, you want my card? Okay, I'll get you in a sec. He wants the card as well. Yep.
Cheers, mate.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
That's yours.
Lovely.
Thanks. Hello. Yep.
How you doing? You all right? My name's Suraj from, ironically, mininghardware.co.uk. A very brief question for you. These rigs that you build for cryptocurrencies, are there preferences on what currencies you mine, or is the end user responsible for choosing which to mine? How do you manage that?
So it tends to be down to the client. So a client would say to us, I want to mine X coin. We say this is the hash rate that will be generated by our machine. So we leave the preference for the client. There is Nice Hash and other programs that you can run that can mine the most profitable coin. I'm sure you're aware of that. And we can also run that for our clients. So these machines are yours. We're not going to say you mine this coin. You say to us, I want a machine to mine X coin, and we'll sort that out for you. So it's down to our clients is the answer to your question.
The investors in the UK who potentially want to invest in your company, again, I've asked this to lots of people here, with regulation, your mining rigs, taxations, etc., how is the investor involved in that, and how are you dealing with it?
So we sell computers, essentially, is what we do. The coins that are mined from the machines, we don't touch. So it goes directly into the client's wallet, and then it's the responsibility of the client to tax that. So where we make our margins is on the sale of the machine, not on the coins. So we don't actually touch your coins. It's your responsibility to deal with it.
Great, thank you.
Yep. I think there's
Thank you. Probably, well, you sort of touched on it a little bit, but obviously, as a client, the rigs are hosted in one of your DCs. What's kind of the, I guess, insurance policy? My rig's down, it's your fault. What's happening? SLAs, turnaround times, uptime.
Good question. So the question's how can I, ensure that the machines have good reliability and uptime? So the reason, a large part of why we're successful is because our machines have some of the best uptime on the market. The data center insures your hardware. We recommend that you also insure yours, but it's also covered by insurance, so that's the other point. Generally, our rigs are up pretty much all the time, and the automation software means that if it goes down, then you don't need a human interference. It's only very rare that a human needs to pull a machine away and do work on it. So we're very transparent with that. We run the data centers as cool as possible to keep the machines up as much as possible.
I was just wondering, how long a lease do you have on the real estate that you're putting your rigs on? Because obviously it's quite capital intensive, so you don't want to necessarily find that you haven't got a long enough lease to actually get a payout.
So it's usually 5 years and over, so it's very long. We can't disclose exactly the sort of business model that we have, because that's how we expand the company. But if we say to you, we're going to host your machines on there for 2 years, then it's going to be hosted for 2 years, full stop. So you're going to get the hosting time that we say that you're going to get. Usually our clients do a yearly renewable contract, so if you're not happy, you can always move your machines, but most of our clients stick with us for several years. Is that okay?
Yeah, no, but in terms of the capital expenditure at the outset, how long does the lease, if you're saying 2 years, that wouldn't pay out the cost of the equipment, would it? So then I'd be left with the residual value or trying to have to find somewhere else to put it. Is that what you're saying? Or?
So to answer your question, you don't need to worry about that, because the data center, you're not investing in the data center. You just pay us $84 per month to host your machine and for the electricity cost base fee. So there's nothing on top of that. So if we say to you $84 per machine for 12 months per month, that's the price that you pay. You don't need to worry about leasing the land or anything like that. That's our responsibility.
And can I sign up for 10 years if I want to?
Not quite. So you'd be very keen if you wanted to sign for 10 years. Usually it's a 1 or 2 year contract, and then we see what happens after 1 or 2 years and take it from there. Is that all right? Okay, thanks. There's a question over there.
So I just want to confirm the minimum outlay per month would be $84?
So yeah, so if you're running an Ethereum machine that mines between about 200 mega hashes, it's only $84 per month, including electricity, because we have such cheap electricity rates that we don't need to mark it up that much. So it is $84.
Okay, do you have any packages for larger hosting?
Yeah, so if you're going to run a 2 million operation, you're going to get cheaper rates than if you're running a 500,000 mining operation. So yeah, the bigger the scale, the cheaper it gets.
Okay, so for example, let's just say I wanted to go 5 times or 10 times the basic. What could you offer me per month?
It would be a negotiation, but we can always bring it down from 84 to say there's not massive difference, but it makes a difference. So maybe 84 to 80 or slightly below that. So there's slight variance, but it's not massive because we're already quite cheap anyway.
Okay, one last question. Do you have a stand?
A stand?
Yeah.
We don't have a stand, but there is a mining stand that you guys can have a look at here.
Right. Okay. So I want more information, please. Okay.
Yeah, sure. We can have a chat after.
Hi there.
Hi.
I currently do some Ethereum mining, and there's a lot of talk about switch from proof of work to proof of stake algorithm. I'm just wondering how you see that working in terms of mining and how you mitigate against that. Are you steering people towards ASIC mining and Bitcoin or away from Ethereum?
So Ethereum is going to move to a proof of stake system. It's going to happen. We don't know when it's going to happen. But the good thing about GPU rigs is you can mine any of the other coins, so you're not just hedging your bets just on Ethereum. So if it goes to 0, then you're still fine because you can sell your cards to gamers or other markets. If you want more resale value, then stick with NVIDIA cards over RX cards. That's your better option. So it's going to go to proof of stake, but I wouldn't worry about that because there's always other cards that come on that we can mine. Ethereum is probably the 20th most profitable coin to mine right now, so there's always other coins that are far more profitable to mine.
Thank you.